Everybody ain't your fucking friend. Niggas really about to do you in. Really gotta watch you take you in. Motherfuckers always wanna count your ends, make you spin. Take your ends, then make you spin. Round and round till you fall. You try to get up, but you fall. And they kick you out, but don't let nothing keep you down. Try to turn that frown upside down. What goes around comes back around. I plant my feet into the ground and hold it. I hold it. Ain't going. Can't keep me. Hold it.
What's going on? This is your boy O'Shea Deuce Jackson here on your favorite vlog, Black in Poland. I'm heading to the Felicity Mall here in Lublin. We're gonna do some shopping, do some vlogging, and I'm gonna do a video response within the vlog. So let's go down to the taxi so I can get my shop on. Come on with your boy, we're gonna have a great time.
Dumb us down, bad intentions make us fool. Wear us, try to tear us, but we won't stay. We knock you, knock you. Still got a money grip, I'm still for my grind. If it ain't about money, it ain't on my mind. If it ain't hip hop, ain't my rhymes. Crab ass niggas are wasting my time. I rock a rhyme, I rock a rhyme. Yeah, you know I rock a rhyme.
So this is Saturn here. So I'm in the biggest store in Poland. It's like Best Buy. It's called Saturn, and it's pretty dope. You know, they have a lot of stuff here. Drones. Thinking about buying a drone myself. These are some of the prices. Looking for a new vlog camera because I'm using my GoPro, which is probably on its last leg, but we'll see. Other smaller cameras here. Dima, help me. Yeah, so this is a Renault. It's like a European dealership from France, so it's pretty cool. It's dope. In this particular video, we are watching a African-American man who has never dated an African-American woman. He has lived in South Korea. He's lived in some parts of Europe. And he's going to talk about, in this particular video clips that we're watching, his experiences with dealing with his mother and also dealing with other groups of women across the world. Now, there will be a point where he does talk about him dating an African woman in France. Maybe she's Congolese or something like that. But we're going to really listen and get into why some black men date interracially outside of their race, and what are some of the motives
what would you say
by listening to
dating black
some of the
women
things
in America?
Actually, I never dated any black women in America.
Why?
Okay, my upbringing was a little
different.
A little different. It was a little odd. So in my household, I guess you could say colorism played a lot into the value that we saw in the people around us. So usually I was always surrounded by, Caucasians.
Okay, so when he's asked about dating black women in America, what we hear is that the way he was raised in his household, that he found value in the fact that lighter was better or associating with non-blacks were better. These were the values that were taught to him. Many times we don't want to talk about in black households that these children, if they don't have confidence in themselves as being black or identifying with African-American culture, it is typically taught to them by their own black parents. In this case, at some point, he's going to mention his experiences with his mother, which we'll listen to at some point. But even people like Stephon Clark, and we know about the Stephon Clark situation with his tweets, a lot of times these guys are taught this by people who are raising them. But nobody wants to talk about the fact when black men say, these are the values that were taught to me, then our household, they want to be upset about what these brothers are going through.
You were surrounded by a lot of white people.
Right.
But so were you not attracted to black women?
Well, now it's going to get a little personal. So I didn't have a good relationship with my mother, so it kind of pushed me off of black women.
Okay.
Not because I wasn't attracted to them, but because I associated some psychological trauma that I had with other black women.
Okay. Right. And so because of that, you had a certain affliction towards black women.
Yes.
Okay, in this particular instance, he's talking about the fact that he doesn't date black women due to his relationship with his mother. Now, for some people, that may not be a good enough reason, but for him, it's a good enough reason. He's had some psychological issues. He's been mistreated. And so even though he does find black women attractive, he even says it. It's not that he doesn't find them attractive. But what ends up happening is that when he looks at a black woman, he thinks that, this is the same affliction. It may happen with some other black female. That can't be true for all black women. We understand that. But for him, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. So if you will even look at this particular comment, and I'm going to bring this comment up, you can see in this particular comment that while the brother is telling his own experience, you have people who don't want to listen to him, like sportsfan_9630. So tired of these black males using the black mother abuse as an excuse for their dating preferences. Dude, just be honest. Most black people are conditioned since birth to view non-black people as attractive and desirable. See Kenneth Clark Dark experience, for example. Stop blaming black women as the cause of your self-hatred. So for this particular person who's writing this particular comment, it's not enough for a black man to tell his own side of the story, how he feels, to be honest, because again, you have people that feel like, black mothers don't commit these atrocities towards black sons. It's more believable to hear, a black man is raping his daughter or something like that. And everybody will believe that. But when a black man wants to, say his point of view as to what happens to him, then, it's a lie. You're not telling the truth. So this comment is very important to see how the black community really feels when black men do come out and say how they feel. If you even go to other comments, you'll see Chosen 115 says 100 true. They make all the excuses in the world instead of just being honest. When this man seems to me like he's being very honest.
Before you left to go overseas, would you say that you had more experience with other races of women, or more, I would say, better experiences with other races of women versus black women?
Actually, when I lived here in America, growing up in high school and in the university years, I was really big into animation, so Japanese animation, and that kind of molded my outlook on the dating scene, which women I could pursue and which ones I couldn't. So more or less, I was attracted to Asian women.
Okay.
Here, what he's saying is very important. He's talking about the fact that when he was in high school and in his university years, he found an attraction towards animation, and Japanese animation to be more precise. And this particular attraction, he understood was going to decide who he could and who he could not date. So let's be more honest. Could it be Asian women that he can't date? Would it be Latino women that he couldn't date, or white women? Probably, there are a lot of guys that are white that like Japanese anime, that are Mexican. But for black guys that like things like these, outlier type of black men, if you will, see, then you're going to have a particular issue. And that issue is simply this, that a lot of African-American women are not going to be able to accept guys that are outside of the norm, outside of the stereotype of being, very ultra hypersensitive, or pseudo masculine, or fresh to death, or, they have a really good speech pattern, vernacular, hip, smooth, all of that, and he doesn't fit these characteristics as a black man. Let's just be honest. His personality and stuff like that, for most black women, it's probably a turnoff. So he already understands that he's not going to have a chance with black women, even though he doesn't prefer them for whatever reasons, outside of the fact that he likes anime. So this is going to be very difficult for him to integrate into the culture with that black women like, and what they want in black men.
So how did things change when you went over to Europe and you started dating European and other races of women?
When I went over to Europe, I wanted to be as mainstream as possible, whatever that means. So I was always looking for white French women with long hair who were, stylistically very Parisian, very European. And I actually dated one black girl there. She was of true African descent, but she was raised in France. And she's a gorgeous girl, just beautiful. But she was too black for me. She was just too black for me.
What does that mean?
What too black means for you means that she did not fit the mold that I believed that I should adhere to. Remember, at this point in my life, I was trying to be mainstream. Right. So I wanted to be accepted into society.
In this particular instance, he's talking about the fact that he did date a black woman in France. I'm probably assuming she's from the Congo, maybe, or some other French African place. And he describes that the fact that she was very beautiful, which is true because the French African countries, they do have, very attractive black women living in Europe. Africa has, very beautiful women in general. The problem for him was he said that she's too black for me. Now, look at him. He's a lighter skinned, African-American man. And again, going back to what he was taught, if he had come from a family that was proud of being a part of the African-American heritage, that, you need to be supportive of your culture, where you're from, this man would probably have a different identity. But here we see a case of the white man's ISIS culture, which many blacks suffer from this. We must get, white women. We must live in a white owned neighborhood, or we must live in certain places where white people are at. And so this is the reason why, a lot of blacks, we don't have anything. We don't promote our own positive as far as our features, our standards of beauty for our own women. And this happens because of people who feel like this, and it's been taught to them. And this is a case of the white man's ISIS culture, nonetheless. And he probably missed out on a really good opportunity with a really good woman just for the fact that she's too black for him. Now, it could be for the fact for her, the other guys, now that listen to this, she's an African lady. It could be the fact that other dark guys were too black for her. So she wants to move up in privilege by getting a lighter guy. So, this whole thing, man, it's really affecting each other. The dark people are trying to get with the lighter people, and the lighter people are trying to get with the white people. So,
it's a completely different thing than they expected. They never thought that they would, date a person whose color is so different from theirs, who looks so physically different from them. But once you're in a relationship with them, a lot of them want to treat you as a king. They really lay themselves down on the line for you.
Now, when you say treat you like a king, like what do you mean? Explain that. The stereotype with Asian women is that they're very submissive.
Right, they are submissive in a way. However, I think that they're submissive because they want the relationship to go smoothly. Korea is a society that wants to save face. That means that they don't want to get into arguments a lot. They want, as I said before, everything to go smoothly. They don't want any crinkles in a relationship, whether it be friendship or romantic. Basically, they're very open to giving you resources. They'll cancel events, or they'll cancel scheduled plans that they have with their friends to be with you. If you're sick or anything, they'll immediately come to you. And I'm not saying that this is different from how American black women would treat a man, but remember, I didn't have an experience with an American black woman. Well, not many, so.
Okay, he ends this part saying that he doesn't know if the experience between, Asian women or African American women are the same. The answer is, for the most part, no. This is one of the reasons why a lot of black men are dating interracially, specifically in the United States, or even going abroad. He says, in response to Asian women, they treat you like a king. They lay themselves down. And then the guy says, kind of go into more detail. Well, he talks about in the relationships, they want them to go smoothly. One of the arguments from African American men is in dealing with relationships in our own community, relationships go everything but smoothly. There's a lot of arguments, nigga, where you been? you did, you know, this and that. I ain't gotta listen to you. Shut your weak ass up. You know, all of these things, and fighting for the, you know, being a man in the relationship is a big problem for a lot of African American men. So they deal with women from other cultures, and, you know, Asian women, or in some cases white women, you know, many times or not, these black men want the relationships to go smoothly, right? Because the women want the relationship to go smoothly. He all talked about open to giving up resources. This is true. You know, women of other races, especially in America, white women, Asian women, they're more likely to come to the table with their money and, you know, be willing to be more helpful to brothers in relationships. And in comparison, in our community, where, you know, women want to know how much money you make, where you live, what kind of car you drive, and, you know, nigga, I ain't giving you shit. What I make is mine, and what you make is mine also. And they have that kind of attitude. They'll take care of you. You know, they'll cancel events to come do what you need to do. And, you know, that might be true of a very small percentage of African American women, but in the cases of other women, you know, this is what a lot of black men talk about all the time. And he's no different in what he's saying here. So that will conclude the particular, you know, video response. I want to thank everybody for watching this particular video. I want to give a shout out to those people who have been supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/Negro Manosphere. I want to do some other comments. We do have the Negro Manosphere Awards. You can go and vote for your favorite black YouTuber here in the Manosphere, or you can vote for your favorite writer. All that you need to do is go into the description or the first comment that's pinned to the top, and click on Negro Manosphere Awards, that link, and do your voting there. The poll will end on this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so all the votes will be tallied there. And I want to really thank everybody for watching. If you're a first-time watcher here, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you know, if you need to get any of our free ebooks, you can go ahead and look at the links in the description. Or if you have any issue with that, my email is right there, planetoshay@gmail.com. And look forward to seeing you on the next time of the O'Shea Vlogcast Black in Poland series. Hope you had a good time. God bless. Peace.